Welcome to the Feds to Freedom podcast, where we have transparent convos with formerly incarcerated individuals who are striving to make our world a better place by operating in their purpose. I'm your host, Sean Johnson, living in my freedom and walking in my purpose unapologetically. Today, we have a special guest in the building, Mr. Robert Slater, entrepreneur and community advocate, bridging business, philanthropy, and politics together to impact the world. Mr. Robert Slater, can I call you Rob or Robert?
Robert's fine.
Robert's fine.
Yeah, thank you for having me, brother. Appreciate
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's get to it. So tell us,
it.
Robert, who is Robert Slater?
Mhm. I love that question. Been asked 1,000 times, and every time it's like, because every day we grow and we adjust that, that saying. But Rob Slater is a statistic. He's a success story. He's human. He's evolving. He's a man of God. He's a man of faith. He's a father. He's a friend. He's loyal. He's an Aries. He's left-handed. But most
Right.
importantly, he lives to give back for the people.
Mhm,
That's not cliche. He's serious because literally I believe that's my purpose.
mhm.
I've been through a testimony. I have one. I have a story, but it's not a story unless someone reads it or learn from it. And so you have to bring your story to life and open up that book so others can read it and learn from it and learn the mission. So Rob Slater ultimately is just an open book.
That's understandable, and we appreciate that, man. That's a lot of information that you just
Oh,
gave
thank
us. I don't know if the majority of us will be able to keep up with that.
you. No,
That was a consolidation
yeah,
of unadulterated information that you just
absolutely.
gave us. You're currently in the race for Texas Congressional District 29.
Yes.
What inspired you to run for office?
Public service is something I think we're all called to, but I tell people all the time I'm not a politician. I'm just a community advocate that's in politics, And so we're at a point and a precipice in our life to where the law is not working for us; it's harming us.
Mhm.
The purpose of tax dollars and benefits and opportunities are no longer there, and so my success after me being a statistic was due to a certain grind and a grit and opportunities that was only by the grace of God.
Mhm.
And so I recognize there's so many like me that may not have those opportunities or those chances, but there's more that the government and the private sector could do. So it's taking my life story and running for office to make things in the government that is basic fund foundation principles
Mhm.
to really work for our people, our communities, to really open up those doors of opportunity so they don't have to work as hard as I did to
Yes.
get where I am.
That's good info.
Yeah.
I noticed that you said that you was a statistic.
Yes.
And a lot of times when you are a statistic, people feel like that they can no longer be a valued asset in the community.
Hmm.
And so, my question to you is, when did you realize that you were a part of the problem and you could actually transform that to be an active part
Hmm.
of the community and again a valued asset in the community? What bell rung in your head for you to make that transition?
Um, I would say actually when I was in high school,
Hmm.
when I was a teenager, um, being kind of raised in South Central Los Angeles, 46 enormity and in that environment and that structure, and then transforming to Houston, even though it was going back and forth in my lifetime, but ultimately in my teenage years, when we got to Houston, we came to Friendswood,
Hmm.
Clear Lake area, predominantly white, Caucasian, upper income. That's like Bayside from Saved by the Bell. So that was a cultural shock. Um, Instantly though, like me and my family were like movie stars. We were actually a real Californian black guy
Right.
from, and I'm not trying to be cliche, but it was like, what the heck? What the
Hmm.
hell? But I love school. I was exposed to new books and opportunities. Our announcements was on TV. We had a TV station to give away announcements. So I learned about radio and TV at that time. And so that exposure told me was like, man, there's so many friends and family that I have back home that the school is not like this. And so
Hmm.
what we're exposed to is really what propels us.
Hmm.
And so that's when I realized we could do more for our
Hmm.
communities.
Well, Mr. Slater, again, this is the Feds to Freedom podcast, which
Mhm,
meaning that I myself personally have
mhm,
been to the Feds. I have been a part of the system.
mhm.
I have been a product of my environment
Right.
unapologetically. And a lot of guys like myself end up going to prison, going to jail, just due to the fact that they are part of the underserved communities.
Mhm.
When people like myself are reintegrated back into society, we're still stigmatized, and the
Mhm.
objective of this show is to also destigmatize the stigma, by way of underscoring and highlighting guys such as yourself that have turned their pain into purpose. And so that's what we want to do. But I'll be frank with you. Me being reintegrated back into society was not a easy thing. I had to relearn how to pay my bills again, how to get a vehicle again, and certain things like that I feel is unfair, Mister
Mhm.
Slater, like being able to secure residency or get
Mhm.
an apartment in my name. And I mean, I've already paid my dues to society. I've done
Right.
my time, Mister Slater.
Right.
And so you telling me like when I come home, I still have to do time because of this stigma
Right.
that's attached to my name. How does that make me feel? Does it make me feel good that I have to figure out a way in maneuver to find a decent place to stay? I
Right.
mean, where are they expecting me to live at? Do they want me to go back to the hood?
Right. Right.
What is your take on something like that, if you don't mind me asking?
No, absolutely, and that's the you pay your debt to society, but the invoices keep coming. Um, I myself was incarcerated. I did 10 years on a 20-year sentence, and I called it my wilderness. And during that time, you go your ups and downs and learning the system. My first 5 years was in West Texas and Smith Unit in Lamesa.
Hmm.
For 5 years, I didn't hear one R&B song, one hip hop song.
Right. Yeah.
All I heard was Tejano and country. I
Uh-huh.
know every country song. Country's my favorite music. So I don't know why I was, conformed like that.
Uh-huh.
But also learning more about myself and inwards. And so I tell brothers that has been just as impacted. Listen, break the stigma, and you break it by having a full conversation. Expect what's to be expected, but you don't have to accept it. Just like in prison, we were in prison, but we don't have to be of prison.
Hmm.
And so, same thing out here. I tell people our story is when someone say, "Oh, well, I could have been where you was. I just did get caught." I don't need your sympathy, sucker.
Right.
Because if you haven't got caught, that means that you haven't learned nothing. So
Hmm.
I take it honor that God had allowed me to make a mistake and go where I was because I've learned and evolved. And I feel pity for you because you haven't experienced that. So it's an honor to experience that, to have your life taken away, to have your family taken away, to be confined to only $70 every 2 weeks and survive on that for your commissary. You know nothing about struggle. And so you lack that experience. You are the stigma, not me.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So
Right.
we got to change how we communicate our wilderness.
Right.
It's an honor to be in that wilderness and come out on top. It's nothing to be
Absolutely.
ashamed about it. None at all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, so you going through that situation in your life and you being where you are now, do you feel like the evolution that you're
Mm.
going through right now, do you feel like certain people still stigmatize you when you were trying to do great things? People still does that still affect you in some shape, form, or fashion?
Absolutely. My own Harris County Democratic Party for the most part do it. I got so many comrades and friends in this political atmosphere that's supposed to be proponents of social justice reform and bail reform and second chance. And they're the main people out here talking about felon this, felon that.
Right.
And so they support the notion, but you think they're gonna support me politically for the most part? So I bypass the establishment system and I go straight to the people because 33% of our people look just like us.
Right.
And we're not going to sell ourselves or our voices to a
Mm,
party, no matter who it is, that we think is having our back, but low key, they don't.
mm,
They're not sticking up for our rights. They're not speaking it. So, what have we got in this second chance community? What have we truly got? And so, um, to the point of it is that I don't expect empathy or sympathy. We have to be unapologetic and we're no longer asking for
mm,
permission. You're right. I did that. I did that. I held myself accountable. I paid that price. New message. And what? So no matter what you can say about that, put some respect on my name of what we're doing now. And so
right.
that's why I encourage brothers, don't give them a justification on that nonsense. Do right. Lean on to our own community. Ask brothers that have make it like yourself and
Mhm.
myself and so many others. And there are opportunities out there. Don't let nobody tell you because of your past, you're a felon incarcerated. So damn what? You did that. You paid it.
Right, right,
Next.
right.
Let's move on.
So we actually have a president that's been convicted of a few crimes, if I'm not
And he
mistaken. Is
don't
that
give a
correct?
damn.
And he is able to live in the White House
Yeah.
um, at this day and age, and
Mm,
we are not even able to get an
mm-mm.
apartment in our name and have to jump through bureaucracy and red tape to
Right.
be able to find somewhere to live. Which I feel like um, it's not right.
Correct.
So, is there any type of reform that you think should be coming down the pipeline when dealing with the underserved communities when it comes to something like that? Like, what would you shoot for? What would you campaign for when it comes to something like that?
Well, actually, on our congressional platform, we actually have an act that's ready to go on day one called the Recidivism Act. And basically, it mimics that of the healthcare system, meaning that someone that has been released from incarceration from prison can buy in at a very low premium and get insured or federally bonded. There are some programs like it, but we want to strengthen it with federal authority. And what that looks like is you pay a small monthly rate like you would for health insurance. And federally, it prohibits a housing entity or a job to discriminate against you because of your background.
Hmm.
Because the number one thing that a housing and the employment industry say that they don't want to hire you is because of risk or some type of damage or loss.
Mm,
Well, let's take that off the table. So now that you're federally insured, if some damages have been accrued because of them hiring you or giving you a place to stay, then they could file an insurance claim to get
mm,
compensated.
hmm.
But I guarantee you what we're finding is that up to 6 months after someone has been released is their most successful period. If you don't capture that individual in that period of time,
Right,
they're gonna relapse to what they need
right.
to know. So the model and the theory and the common sense is let's capture them in them first 6 months. Let's set them up for success.
Mhm.
And I know, like you know,
Right.
people that come out of their wilderness are some of the most innovative, pioneering. All you do is
Absolutely.
have time to think
Absolutely.
and build. And
Absolutely.
so imagine the positive impact to our economy we have while bringing these individuals into the economy, into the workforce, into the housing, and be successful, productive citizens. You'll see recidivism drop. You'll see return crimes happening. And also you'll see new inspirational stories. It'll be a preventative for those that's going into the system because they have someone to look forward to that's out here on the ground mentoring them not to go back in.
Mhm.
And so it's all connected. And so it's called the Recidivism Act. We're ready to go on day one once we take back control of this house and put it on the table.
Man, that's good info. We appreciate that info. You know, Mr. Slater, I ran into an old associate of mine maybe about a week ago that was recently reintegrated back into society.
Mhm.
And he had been out for maybe about 6 months, and he
Wow.
stopped by. I saw him when he first came home. He looked
Mhm.
good. You know, we look good when we come home.
Right, right, right.
And so he had been home for about 6 months. So I see him 6 months later and I'm making an assessment.
Mhm.
And my heart went out because I understood that he was really struggling and probably didn't have the family support that I had when I came home.
Wow.
And he had never worked a job in his life ever.
Mm.
However, he did tell me he had a job coming up the following Monday, but needed the financial assistance to be able to, buy his lunch, get gas.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, man, I'm stretched all over the place, so I
Mhm.
couldn't assist, but I felt really bad
Right.
because he needed like $150. And so these are the times where people are going through when they come home and they want to go back to what they knew in order
Right.
to get to where they're trying to go. And so this is exactly what my organization, Fears to Freedom, and you don't have to. It's Fears to Freedom doesn't mean that you have to have been incarcerated in the feds. It could be the state, it could be the county.
Mhm.
No matter where you come from, what we want to do is we want to extend assistance and help these guys get job placements because this is the main thing that they need when they come home. They need to figure out how to pay their cell phone bill. They need a pair of shoes. They need the essentials, the bare essentials, and everybody doesn't have that
Mhm.
family support. So I feel really bad, and that's what's really encouraging me and giving me this enthusiasm to put this and implement this project so that these guys can have that assistance.
Mhm.
So that's a good thing that you have going as well. And for those that are tuned in, definitely
Mhm.
link into this system that Mr.
Yeah.
Slater is speaking about. So, Mr. Slater, I heard that you were running at one point in time for District 18.
Yes.
And so, what happened with that?
Well, District 18, we was on the original ballot about a year and a half ago. And then after the Congresswoman, Miss Sheila Jackson Lee, had won that primary and then passed away, we had a special election. We got back out there again, and then our former mayor, Sylvester Turner, was running, as well as 17 of us. He was selected to replace on the ballot for that, and he won that general. But unfortunately, a few months later, he passed away. So this is our third time running for this seat in one session. That wasn't enough. We this district 18 has been without representation almost 200 something days. To bring that home is that you're being taxed, but you don't have a representative to fight and vote for where your taxes go. That is taxation without representation. The second most important thing, that big beautiful bill we talked about earlier, well, guess what, folks? It passed by just one vote. Guess where that vote was missing? In District 18. The entire country was affected because the District 18 wasn't able to at the table to be able to vote. And so now we have election interference 2.0 from the president of these United States calling the governor, and basically they want to find five more seats out of Texas that's basically they could flip to give them an advantage because they predict a blue wave is coming next year. And so, of course, throw District 18 in there. They already don't have a fighter or defender. And so they split this district in half.
Mhm.
The special election is in November.
Mhm.
Only around 25% of District 18, as you know it, is going to remain come next primary in March when these maps go into effect. And so for our campaign, 40% of this district has been moved into this new district called 29.
Mhm.
Um, 40% of District 18, Acres, Homes, Humble, all up in that area. And so a number don't dictate our communities.
Mhm.
And so our mindset was we want to go where the people go, where this
Mhm.
historic community is at.
Mhm.
And so you're not going to throw Acres, Homes, and Humble in this Northwest
Mhm.
Houston side over there and try to water down with some Republican votes or pit Hispanics up against our Black and brown brothers.
Mhm.
We're not doing that, especially after you just ravaged them with these these tax cuts and cuts for Medicaid and so on and so forth. And so we're going to a different battle, a front line in the battlefield, but we're still in the war. We're just defending this divide and conquer. So District 29 is really a good part of old 18. They're just not communicating as such, but we're there.
Okay. And what's your plan as far as connecting and making that connectivity with District 29? What do these people need? Like what is going on in that
Yeah,
district that you see that would make you a qualified representative
absolutely.
for that district?
Thank you. Well, for one, the constituents of this district have a crazy amount of those that have been just impacted. Up to 38% of this district have had some type of record of some sort. That's
Mm,
A. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a lawyer, and trust me, I surround myself with the best of attorneys. I love lawyers. But we are being tired of being in the courtroom of injustice and walking out with the guilty verdict or some type of plea deal that doesn't benefit our community. So, as a businessman, I look as in investing in that community. A lawyer could win or lose a case and still go home to their family, and their
mm,
client may suffer.
mm,
A businessman can't do that.
mm,
The success of what I do depends on my success. I can't afford to lose.
mm,
And so I look at this district as investment zones, investment opportunities. Everything is synergized. It's the way you look at
mm,
it to be effective.
mm,
You're not just going up there and protesting and rah rah rah. We're doing the work right now. We brought down an economic summit. We got a housing and agriculture summit right now. Win, lose, or draw about this race. That's the smallest thing. The people we need work now. If you can't do it then, now you can't do it then. And so in this community, you have a lot of rooftops, but there's not a lot of business development,
mhm,
right? For instance, there's a lot of trash on the field and the sidewalks and in Acres Homes when you go
mhm,
down to Soto, so on and
mhm,
so forth, because of whatever, tires and dump yards.
mhm,
But then I go 2 blocks up and I see a bunch of young men hanging on the corner at
mhm.
a store because they don't have no work and no jobs.
Right.
So as a businessman, I see a problem and I see a solution. So when I direct some of that funding, whether private or federal, to get these young men equipped to go pick up that trash and clean up
Mhm,
their own communities, give them the trucks, give them the tools that's needed. There's not safe sidewalks on a lot of these streets. So you got kids walking down the middle of the street to go to
mhm,
school, but in gentrified neighborhoods, these
mhm.
new houses, they got
Absolutely.
sidewalks. So again, why not partner with Home Depot and Lowe's and get these tools and let's set up a in one of these closed down schools that we just had. Let's set up a training program that's 6 weeks to teach these young men how to lay some concrete so they could build their own damn
Right,
sidewalks and
right.
build their own bridges. And
Uh-huh.
so it's really investing back into the community, and you got all the things that you need, but it takes a businessman to look at. So that's A, and not to hold up too much time on the subject, but the second thing is we roll out what we call the FCAB. It's a Federal Congressional Advisory Board, and it consists of 21 members of the community. And that is crucial because that's basically in business, you have a board that the CEO reports to. And so this board is consistent of stewards and gate, elders around the community, stakeholders. And when I'm in Washington, D.C., before I place a vote on an issue,
Mhm.
I come to this board, I explain the issue,
Mhm.
and I get their consensus. I
Mhm.
let them go talk to the constituency and educate the
Mhm.
constituency, get that feedback. They come back, and that board votes. Wherever the majority of that board votes, that's my vote in DC. That's what representation is. I don't just go up there and vote willy
Mhm.
nilly when I'm representing
Mhm.
800,000 people.
Mhm.
And it also brings the people along and educate. So my point is that the people want to be at the table.
Right.
And that's what we're going to do. We're going to build the table and sit everybody at it. We all going to eat together. We are no more reacting to what's happening. You're going to know proactive. Before I place a vote, you're going to know as just as much as I do. And that's what the people need.
Hey, that's good
Yeah.
info. So listen, man, I want to be frank with you. Anytime you have somebody running for office, a lot of times they have great ideas, if you
Mhm.
will. And a lot of times, people of the community feel like whoever this representative is that's campaigning for this office,
Right.
they feel like they hear a lot of rhetoric.
Mhm.
So what I'm asking is, I'm sure whoever ran for District 29 or District 18 the last time
Mhm.
had a vision and was a visionary.
Mhm.
And so these same guys that you saying that's on the street at the street corners, no sidewalks, this stuff has been going on. So it's kind of like, what makes you think that at this point you would be able to be the one that gets something like that accomplished? I mean, do you have connections, plugs? Is it your heart? Is it your faith? I mean,
Mm.
what makes you think you can come in and modify such a difficult task or situation when if it were that
Mm.
easy, it would probably already be done.
Gotcha. Well, let me ask you this, brother Sean. If I was a politician, Christian Menifee or Man Edwards sitting here right now with my political experience, we'll be talking about their political experience that make them qualified in there, right?
Right.
What has that gotten us? So the answer to your question is my experience in life is what makes me qualified. I
Okay.
live the issues. This is
Okay.
not ideas. I
Okay.
know what the problem is because I lived it.
Hmm.
So I was homeless. So I know how to fix home. I know what it
Right.
feels like to eat ramen
Hmm.
noodles. I know that I can go to a business and get a business loan for my restaurant. So I had to train and teach myself to educate myself and put myself around. I know what it took because I lived that experience. And so to others, it's ideas. To me, it's living experience, and
Hmm.
that's my experience. And respectfully, again, when last time we had a businessman that represented this community? When last time we
Right.
had someone that was just as impacted that represent this community?
Right.
When last time we had somebody that was starving and homeless that represent this community?
Hmm.
That's how I know. It's not an idea to me. I lived it. I've experienced it. And we have a plan. You go to stanwithslater.com and see everything that I'm saying that is fully vetted. And this is a plan that comes from Washington, D.C. by way of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, which I'm the Texas chapter president.
Hmm.
The esteemed group that was founded by Dr. Martin Luther King,
Hmm.
the group that walked across that bridge in Zelma, the group that spearheaded the Montgomery Boys
Hmm.
boycott. It's only been 3 presidents. And Andrew Liggins, who's the current president, and I'm the Texas chapter president. So the stout and the stock that I got behind me, we can't afford to lose. That's how I know that we're going to be
You
successful with
sound you
this.
sound very confident, which
Yeah.
is very commendable,
Thank
if
you.
you will. So a lot of these guys that are in the district that you're
Mhm.
running for, like you were saying, at the corner stores, this and that,
Yeah.
like you've been incarcerated, I've been incarcerated, and we understand something about this younger generation. They call them YNs, if I'm not mistaken.
Man,
Um,
hold up.
they, um, you know, um, I come from the streets, and so even right now, they think I'm old school. You
Mhm.
understand what I'm saying? So
Or
it's
Unc.
yeah,
We
they think
Uncs.
I'm on, and so my question is, how do we even connect with these individuals when they look at us as being outdated or antiquated, if you will, like we don't know what we talking about, or we don't know the struggle? What would it look like for Mr. Slater to pull up to one of these corner stores and have a conversation with these guys to figure out what their issues or what their ideas are? Like, what would something like, do you feel like that's something that's conducive for you running for office?
Um, that's a great question. I think, and to me, it's never really a right answer. It's a belief and a
Hmm.
faith. I meet people where they are.
Hmm.
When I went up to that said corner that I spoke of, it's actually they was barbecuing out there, and they had a little recreational room for young men that was incarcerated. It was about 20 to 30 of them. Man, we pulled up. I went straight to the pit.
Hmm.
Let me help out.
Right.
Y'all playing some dominoes? What's up, Big Six? Let's
Hmm.
go. Sometimes the loudest communication is in your actions.
Mhm,
Some people don't want you come talking at them. They gotta, you know how it is. We gotta check you out. See, are you qualified to speak to me?
mhm,
And so you got people that don't have the qualifications sometimes that come in
mhm,
and they speaking and they not saying the language. So first you have to make that connection and be relatable. And so to your point, that's what I'm big on is relatable representation. Can
mhm,
you relate to it? Sometimes it's about just listening,
mhm,
you know. And so talking to these younger individuals, there's a lot of mental health
mhm,
in our YNs. You know, it's a lot of mental issues. There's a lot of not enough outlets to let this out. And so sometimes you just gotta listen to them, you know, and give them a hug. I know that sounds kind of cliche with him. My son is a YN,
mhm.
you know, and I'll be wanting to slam him every day. I don't know. You can keep that in. Y'all don't charge me, whatever. But listen, I'm from the old school. I believe in whipping kids. Whip your kids, they swept my house, you know.
Right,
But
right.
my point is that we just I have to listen to my son, understand,
Mhm,
and wait for that right opening and talk to him. Be stern.
mhm,
We're not gonna play, but they want to give him a safe place to communicate that dialogue and manage. And the biggest thing is follow up. Don't go talk to him one time. Come
mhm,
back.
mhm,
And then keep coming back and
mhm,
keep coming back and build that relationship. So it's a continuous thing, man. And I encourage, like, even I'm impressed with you and so many others, man. We as men have to stand up more because a lot of these YNs, they see our women
mhm,
as out there fighting. They see
mhm,
our Jasmine Crockett's, even the political. They don't see enough men, especially in the political field, standing up.
mhm,
Obama was their figure.
mhm.
Man, we got more than that, respectfully,
Right.
you know. And so we just got to stand up and be present more. That's it.
Mhm. That's understandable. I'll be frank with you, even coming home, doing what I do, implementing my business. Things have been consistent, but it's been quite slow. But
Mhm.
at the same time, I can't complain because I come from a place to where I wake up every morning, there's 4, 5, 6 people, if not 10 or 20 that I'm
Right.
looking at. So I'm home now. But just because I'm home does not mean that it has been a easy task for me. And so I know that some guys, they come home and they choose to go back to where they came from because of the difficulty that they face.
Yes,
And
sir.
so this is where we want to catch people at. So somebody, let me ask you a question.
Hmm.
You've been incarcerated, and a lot of us have a lot of bias.
Hmm.
You've been incarcerated before, but you could still be biased towards somebody else that's been incarcerated. So how would you, or your team or your campaign, somebody like myself that's implemented their own business, how would you extend a helping hand? Or is it in your head to where, hey, this guy, has come from where I come from. What can we do to help them evolve? Because once you evolve, we all evolve.
Absolutely.
Is that your mentality?
Absolutely. I'm unapologetically biased towards those that seeks an opportunity because they're disenfranchised. I
Mhm,
could, you know, you're starting a race with handcuffs on, and that you still, even though you in the race, you still got handcuffs on. And so we have to reach out.
mhm,
I know with that, you never forget, you
mhm.
know, and so it's a
Some
duty.
people do, granted.
Yeah, yeah. And so now it's also fair to say that, as you said earlier, it's ideas, there's dreams, and it's actually plans that just need the opportunity. There's
Mhm,
a difference in all of those, you know. Your dream and your planning have to be in your heart.
mhm.
That's your vision. Now, if you want some counsel, so we can dialogue and politic all day, but when it comes to a true opportunity that I know and believe that that's all you need,
Mhm.
man, it's my duty to help you out. It's my responsibility to help you out. I have to.
And you feel obliged to do so.
I do. I do. In a correct, effective way that's meaningful, not just because.
Mhm.
Just because you was we connected up. Nah, brother, that don't fly. You know, what is your plan?
Right,
What is your impact?
right,
What is the return on this investment?
right.
You know, and if that is there and it's just something that's blocking, no, man, we got to, you know.
Understandable. How do you think local officials and businesses partner with nonprofits like mine, the Silver Lining Project, to provide opportunities for those looking for their second chance?
You said, how do I feel about them?
How do you feel like like businesses and like local officials or offices, like
Right.
how could they partnership with nonprofits like mine or any other nonprofits that are helping individuals that are in these situations? Like, is it an easy thing to do to partnership with these offices to be able to secure funding to move forward? Like, is it a difficult task to do so?
I don't think it's that difficult. I don't think there's enough incentive there.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough. I mean, a business, they have a bandwidth of only so much to do a good deed or a goodwill.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest and frank with it, most of the time it's just for some type of write off at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And so if it's easier to donate in here and some kids or something or some homelessness versus over here, that's an impact. Which one is? And so we just got to have those real conversations. And those real conversations starts with the tax code.
Okay.
For instance, there hasn't been a Democrat that has proposed a tax cut plan in over 40 years. Us, this campaign is the first one, and we're not even elected, that has written out a tax cut plan in the United States in the last 40 years. I'm being very audacious, and it's called the All American Tax. And we actually have some sitting representatives out of Florida that's backing it up.
Mm-hmm.
My point is that you tie these benefits and these tax cuts to these benefits, you incentivize them by participating and
Mm-hmm.
giving opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead of just giving a tax cut or a tax break to the wealthy 1% or corporation, no, 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 no. Let's bring that back. Let's tie that into you investing in investment zones in these underserved communities.
Mm-hmm.
Let's tie Apple came from New York or California and they're in Texas now to benefit off a tax break.
Mm-hmm.
So Apple is coming here to benefit off the tax breaks, but those taxes and laws is breaking our backs.
Mm-hmm.
That's not fair. So unless you're gonna build that plant on that Apple store in Acres Homes or SETI Gas on the north side in Cashmere Garden area or something, what's the benefit of it?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to have so much jobs and contracts to the community that you build it in. And so if you want to benefit from those tax breaks, let's make sure it's all connected. And so that's where we got to get down to the nitty gritty and the science. So to your point, we got to incentivize these businesses. If you want those write-offs and those tax cuts, just like you give to veterans and so on and so forth,
Mm-hmm.
let's put second chance up in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the opportunity is at. Let's put, and whatever it looks like, and it's not just giving a job, give it to some type of trust or some type of financing and funding, some type of scholarships or
Mm-hmm.
programs. Let's look at those type of things. And so it takes a businessman or people like ourselves to get at that table.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would like to start getting those task forces and committees out there to do the question that you have. Let's investigate that. What does that look like? We have a second chance mayor in Whitmire that was big when he was a senator. I haven't seen a lot of from him as mayor,
Mm-hmm.
but I've supported him when he was state senator because I benefited from that. But I'll
Mm-hmm.
call him out right now. He hasn't done a damn thing since he was mayor dealing with second chance, and
Mm-hmm.
that's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's not enough. We're funding the police, but we're defunding these programs that we speak of that go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Which side are you on? You know, so we gotta get the community and qualified people that's been through it like us to have those committees to like, let's look at this thing. How can we in our community in Houston, Harris County, get these programs established? I'm working on a meeting right now with our attorney, district attorney Sean Tier,
Mm-hmm.
to where we want to talk about these probation, these community service programs.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking these young men and making them pick up trash on the side of the road off of Highway 6 and I-10. But again, I got trash on DeSoto and Acres Homes. So let them do community service in their own
Mm-hmm.
neighborhood because they're
Right.
less likely to destroy what they helped build. And so, but it takes us to build out that plan. And
Right.
so when I sit down with him at lunch next week, here's an alternative. And I want judges to sign on. Give me my young men back.
Mm-hmm.
Let us correct our own. Let us give them the community
Mm-hmm.
service. Let's get our young men in their own community built,
Mm-hmm.
and this is how we could do it. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll co-sign for 'em. So it's just about stepping up, stepping to the table, and figuring it out. We got to do
Understand.
it.
Do you think there's any mandates that are set in place for individuals that have been incarcerated when they're reintegrated and come back home for people that want to be business owners or if they just want jobs? Do you think that there should be some type of mandates for different companies to have to hire a certain percentage of people who were formerly incarcerated?
I absolutely do. Now that's what we come with hope because it'll go against the very diabolical prison system and what it's intended for and they farming practices. It would go against their own true
Mhm.
purpose. You know, they want you to come back.
So wait a minute, you telling me that they're not about rehabilitation and reform and for us to be productive citizens of our society? Because I thought they wanted us to come home and be productive and not go back. So are you telling me that the
You
idea is
mean
a
that
little different?
the individuals that wrote the laws about prisons that named half of the prisons behind slave owners, they
Right.
wrote it talking about rehabilitating black former slaves and making them productive. No, man, show me the face of what they look like and who wrote that.
Well, if that's the case, we might not get these mandates set in place to
Man,
hire these individuals at
right,
these different upscale companies,
right.
blue chip companies, whatever you want to call them. We might not get that mandate.
We might not get it because that's what they want, unless we get right people in office and change that
So
conversation.
why is it that they want us to do that? I mean, are they making money when we're in the system? How does that work? Is somebody putting millions of dollars in their pocket because we're incarcerated?
Absolutely. It's a form. And I'll say it and I stand on it. Let me break it down to you another way. It's the reason why you have let's use Texas for instance. There's a reason why you have 90+% of our state prisons are in rural Republican led areas. Because when you do a head count and the census counts, that prison population goes towards that population count of that area. So you get funding and you get
Mm,
voting percentage.
mm,
Even though those prisoners are not from that area. They could be from South Park in Houston.
mm,
But because they're on the other side of Abilene,
mm.
they're counted as a constituent of Abilene.
Really?
That's why they place you where they place you.
This is
We need
exposure.
to have yeah, and it's the truth, it's fact, but nobody's talking about it. And this is not conspiracy theory, YouTube. Listen, man, it's no alternative facts here. These are facts that we have to get at the table and break it up.
Wait a minute. You're not apprehensive about exposing these things?
I'm not a politician. I'm an advocate that happened to be in politics. It's a difference. I have a responsibility, and that's the experience I bring. I know where the problems are. You know,
And you're not scared to address them because some people could be a little apprehensive about this, man. Like
like
you're
what?
exposing certain people, and people don't take that lightly. I'm gonna be honest with you.
When you come from where we come from in the wilderness, it was a lot of more scary things behind them bars that we survived.
Hey,
We listen. We built different.
but let's be
You know.
honest now.
You
You
know.
got people, the upper echelon when you get to dealing with the wrong people and
Yeah.
tapping on the wrong doors. People come looking for you now. Let's
Oh, they look for us now. We're the most blackball campaign here.
and
We
y'all not hiding out or anything like that.
for what? Man, you can't. If I close my eyes tomorrow, I know I've done what God wanted me to do. I don't fear no man, no woman, no system. I believe that's what faith is, that I'm here for a reason. I'll be honest with you. There's times and she'll tell you, I didn't want to run. I have to. Every time I want to do something else, God spanked me and put me back in this race. Right
So,
now I'm suffering. I have to.
so you would you currently say that you running for office that you feel like you're offending a lot of people by the job at hand that you feel like you have a conviction to do?
If you're offended, you're an offender. You should be offended. If you shouldn't be offended and you should be awakened to what's happening, then wherever you fall, whatever your spirit convicts you, it's not my concern on where you land. It's just to awaken that spirit that's within you and get you right or expose you, period.
And the reason I'm asking too, because a lot of people don't know about running for office or anything like that.
Mhm.
I've never ran for any office. I haven't. I've only ran from the police, right?
Mhm.
So, but my question is, when you're offending these people, are you in your rearview mirrors when you're going down the street, looking behind you to make sure no one's following you? I mean, do you,
They should be looking at theirs. When we walk into these debates, we walk in, we have security, we have a team, and when truth is with you, then so be it. And so they should be afraid. And I'll be honest with you, it's no angst to be a disruptor or to go at or whatever the case may be. But
Mhm.
because we share the same skin color, gives you no immunity from the truth. You are even more convicted from hurting your own. And so I tell people all the time, I don't go against candidates. We're going against a system that has continuously failed us. And I'm not going to stop until that system is dismantled. I don't care
Mm,
what shiny new apple you put up as your
mm.
candidate. I want to know what that tree that the apple came from. And so they know who I'm
Right.
talking about. They know I'm here. We've been blackballed. It's hard for us to raise money to get votes, and that's cool. But let me tell you about the one thing about this voting system. The people vote at the end of the day.
Mhm.
And so they want certain people not to vote. They hope certain people don't vote and
Mhm.
only certain people vote. And so our winning strategy is to go directly, it's cutting out the middleman. You get the truth for free.
Mhm.
You don't need to be charged for the truth no
Mhm.
more.
Mhm.
We just have to go directly to the people and educate them and say, hey, don't you don't sit this one out.
Mhm.
Stand up and vote. This is what the plan is. Don't believe me and watch. And let me make a contract with you because as a businessman, we negotiate the terms of an agreement. I commit to only running 3 terms. That's 6 years.
Mm.
In that 6 years, we'll be training other people to take our place. Because every time you update your phone, politics should be updated.
Mm,
That's A. The second thing is though, every single year I put myself up for a vote of confidence, meaning that if I don't do what I say I'm going to do, or I'm not doing a good job, and you vote that I shouldn't run for reelection, I won't run.
mhm,
I'm not going to force a dynasty down you. I'm not going to force name recognition down you.
mm,
So it keeps you committed and responsible to your commitments
mhm,
for the people. And so that's what I aim to do. And so that's what drives me. I'm gonna do what I'm going to say I'm going to do. And if
mm,
I'm not able to do it, you're going to know why I'm not able,
mm,
but you're going to know that we tried.
mm,
And we're still going to try a different way. So
mm,
transparency, trackable, and traceable representation is what we bring to this table.
mm.
We just need the people to vote. I don't care about the parties, the politics, the who's who, the gatekeepers. They're the ones that's on the run. We're gonna expose them.
Mm. One question I do have that I'm not that I don't have a lot of clarity on, and I'm
Mhm.
sure that you do. Um, if you have been currently incarcerated, are we able to vote because we have been disenfranchised?
Yes. Once you're completely off of supervision, so your probation or your parole is completed, then you're able to get your rights reinstated.
Mm,
And a lot of people don't know that. And so it doesn't matter if you're not on papers no more, pretty much, you should be registering to vote. Matter of fact, you go to standwithslater.com or go to harrisvotes.com, I believe, and register to vote. We're also doing voter registration and education on it. We have a lot of programs and work we're doing right now. I think October 8th in Galveston, we have a huge um justice impacted rally that's going on, and we're doing a lot of voter education and registration for those that have been incarcerated. So if you're off of papers, the state of Texas should reinstate you. You should get a letter that your all your rights are reinstated, minus the firearms, but you should be able to eligible to vote.
okay, so if you've been convicted of a firearm, you won't be able to reinstate.
No, I'm just saying you won't be able to own a gun. When I say all your rights reinstated,
Uh huh.
not your rights to carry a firearm,
Okay,
just
got you,
clarifying that,
got you,
but your
got you.
right to vote, yes.
Okay. So do me a favor and give us two good reforms that you believe are the most urgent in our criminal justice system to stop the cycle of incarceration.
The two biggest things is for I think that we need to look at our public defender's office. It's a right to provide counsel, but I think you need to provide counsel that's adequate and that have true intentions. Like I know that when we take on a public defender is there to just plead you out. I've had a public defender before that told me, "Hey, you're innocent of this. I suggest you get a free world attorney," as they say. Well, hell, you were my attorney for free. Why can't you fight my case? So we need to look at what that representation looked like by getting some of these other law offices into that system as well. So reforming on the fights and the efforts, because the reason why that's important, because a substantial amount of minority black and brown individuals are pleading to cases that they truly didn't do. Just because it's easy to do that. Or I'm gonna get on probation, right? And I could go home and see my family versus facing this 2 to 5 years, and they think that they're going to be okay, but that record is for on them. And so when you hear those false claims that you know blacks can take up 30% of this nation, but they commit 50% of the crimes, is totally false. It's totally not true. We also are benefit of over 60% of the exonerations for false convictions. So there's a problem there. Our teens and our young men are being told to plea out because they can't afford true representation. So we need to look at that process on the front end.
Mm,
The second reform is on the back end, the recidivism. As I said, we have that act that we want to put forth. We want to tie the tax code to it to make sure that we incentivize business to make true investment into this community across this country. 10%, 30 million, 10% of this country is have been justice impacted. Imagine if we take the stigma and put 30 million back people, 30 million people back into the workforce, back into the economy, back into lending, back 30 million people. There's money. I think it came out to $25 billion that's missing from black incomes due to incarceration. $25 billion out of the black economy. And so we need to educate, we need to facilitate, activate, acclimate, and get our people back into the voting process and make your voices heard. We need to vote more, but we need our elders, our black elders, to stand up and train and transition to our young folks. Don't just give up on them YNs and the younger generation. Pass the torch before the flame go out. Figure it out. Meet them where they are. And so on the front end, representation on the back end, the recidivism, but open up those opportunity zones so we can have a place and at least a fighting chance after we paid our debt to society that we could be productive and pay it back and show our gratitude for the opportunity. Just give us that chance. That's all we ask.
So it sounds like you're saying there needs to be some reform in the district attorney's office.
Absolutely.
Would you say that there's corruption going on in the district attorney's office? I mean, who's the head? Who's the lead? Because you know they said all roads it comes from uphill downhill.
Mhm.
So what? Who's in head of the in charge of that department in the DA's? Are you familiar with that individual?
Well, Sean Tier is the attorney,
Mhm.
but I wanna go a step further. I think the people, and let me say this not to be cliche, your voting power. The district attorney is beholden to those who vote for him, his block, right? And, like, right now in Houston or Harris County, for example, it's your moderates, whether Republican, Democrat, whatever, but it's people that's afraid of crime, that their cars and houses are
Mm,
being broken into. So
mm,
he has an obligation to
mm.
be a little tough on crime,
Right.
right? That's a fact. And so the demographic or the block that is sensitive or supportive of reform and recidivism and second chance, we have to solidify and add stock to our value. And the only way is to vote. If our voting numbers are up as a group, the politicians gonna come to, they're gonna hear to you too. So we could cry and talk about the problems, but if you're not active in the voting process, you really don't have no currency in the race. And
Mm,
that's where they rate you at. You basically talking for free. They're not paying you no mind. That's how they can ignore you. But when you come together, educate, let's get our numbers up on those sections with people that are off papers and that can vote now. Imagine how quickly you're gonna see the conversation turn because that's what they need. So you are in charge of the people that's in office. They just ignore you because you have no value because you don't vote. That's it.
mm.
That's it.
That's good info. So how do you plan on right now at this point bridging the gap
Mm.
between the marginalized communities and policymakers?
Um, for one, we start with the marginalized communities. And I pray and I believe and truly have confidence that we're going to awaken up enough to get this movement going. Getting your voices heard, getting you a seat at the table. A lot of people would do better if they knew better. It's just that nobody's out there educating. Like this is a great platform that's educating with these facts. Um, we it's 3 million farmers in this country, but only 30,000 of them are black. And so we partner with the Black Farmer Association nationwide, and we're bringing them here for an agriculture to tell you that, hey, you know what? If you own your house, I know a way that you get $40,000 a year just by conserving rainwater off your front yard.
Hmm.
And so for all these elders that's in the north side that have these homes that's just sitting there or whatever, you could be making money off of your land. That's basic one-on-one, right? Um, to individuals that's been incarcerated that has a record or a small business. These schools are closing. There's 325 closed buildings in this city alone. Well, guess what? This new voucher program from the state, they give $10,000 per student to if you start a school. So one part is we're being told like vouchers aren't a good thing, whether you for it or not. The bottom line is coming. Where are we at on school vouchers? You mean to tell me we can start our own school now?
Hmm.
They took away African American studies, so we steady been trained to complain about what's coming instead of rolling up our sleeves and getting on the side of what's happening and getting the best and not the less.
Right, right,
And so I want to start a school system. You mean I can start a school system specifically for those that's coming out of prison now,
right.
and the state that held them incarcerated gonna pay me
Mm,
10,000? It's how you look at it,
mhm,
brother. Everything is not a problem.
mhm.
We are trained to look at a solution. When we was locked up, we had to create a line.
Right,
For those that know what a
right,
line is,
right.
to get that kite
Yeah,
down
yeah,
that
yeah.
line.
Hmm.
'Cause we weren't gonna just sit there and accept it. I couldn't send a message.
Right,
We're gonna figure it out.
right.
The same thing here. So if I create a school for those that have been incarcerated, get that state to pay me,
Hmm.
things gonna change, brother. We just gotta look at it different.
Hey man, this is wonderful,
Yeah.
amazing information, man. I
Thank you.
love your energy, where
Thank you.
you going with this vision. You seem like a visionary to me.
Yeah.
You seem like somebody that if they have something on their mind,
Mm.
they shooting for the stars with
Yeah.
it. So we appreciate you, man, out there in the community
Mm.
doing what you're doing.
I
What I would
appreciate it.
like for you to do right now, man, is people that have come from our community. I call it the IRPP, the
Mhm.
Incarcerated Reentry Probation and Parole Community.
Yes.
What I would like for you to do right now is speak directly to those people that come from our community
Mhm.
because they need to know that we have not forgotten about them.
Right.
We're trying to pave a way for them. It's not easy to do so, but we are out here doing what we can. So I would like for you to speak to those people, and I also would like you to speak to District 29 to let them know who you are, and look right in that camera, man. Just let these people
Mm,
know what it is with Mr. Slater.
good deal. To my our brothers and sisters that have been just as impacted, that's incarcerated, or better yet, take it a step further. If you have someone in your family that's incarcerated, um, there's no limits. There's no limits, and don't let no one tell you that there's limits. The first thing is holding yourself accountable for whatever it is, not the details of it at the end of the day. Because when we go to jail, we take our whole family, and our whole family is broken by the process. Own the accountability of that, right? That's our rock bottom. And once you own that, with anybody else they view, it doesn't even matter. Your vision and your dream can all be accomplished, and it's going to be hard. When you come out of, you're out here, there's not lending for you. There's not housing. There's not job. And you depend on people that have maybe been incarcerated. Brother, don't nobody owe you nothing. You owe yourself. Get yourself right. There's always ways to learn and self-train and talk. My first business plan, I said and learned on YouTube. I taught myself how to write a business plan on YouTube. And when I went to try to go get a loan from the SBA, they told me no because I was still on papers. So when I went to try to go get a loan, different banks, they told me no. I'll be honest and transparent with you. I had a cigar, Black and Mild. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm just very transparent. And I was driving, and I happened to go by League City City Hall because I heard they was building a lot of places around here. So I just walked in. There was a secretary, and I said, "Hey, I just have a business plan. I'm just trying to look, just trying to talk to somebody to see what's going on in this area and if I could get in." And right then and there, a gentleman walked in. She said, "That's who you need to talk to. He's the chief economic development officer of League City." And I said, "Hey, you got a second?" He said, "Yeah, come on up to the office." It's crazy. Went up there, man sat there and read my YouTube prepared business plan.
Mhm.
And he said, "It's the best business plan I ever seen."
Mm.
He said, "Give me 5 days, I'm gonna have somebody call you." Literally in 4 days, Mr. Sean, I got a call from some developers, and the
Mm.
rest is history. And we built a $2 million restaurant and development. And
Amazing.
that was the first one. And then I started learning this and that, all because I didn't give up. Imagine if I didn't go and took a chance. So
Mm.
everything is not already, nobody had an answer. You have the answer. Just don't give up and be innovative and keep on going no matter what, right?
Mm.
And so they're gonna have distractions. It's gonna be, "Oh, I don't have enough money. I don't have," man, it's always gonna be something what you don't have, but what you do have is your mind. Those dreams that kept you up when you was in your cells. So my point is just never give up. It's gonna happen, but you are representing all of us. So you have a responsibility to be successful and succeed and not go back.
Mm.
You have a responsibility to communicate when you feel like relapsing and going back. You have a responsibility. And so let's help each other in that regard. And to District 29, if anything that I said have offended you or offended I'll pray for you, pray for me, and we could still figure out how we can make this happen. I'm not a one to ask you for your vote just because. I just want you to vote. I'm that person. Even if you don't vote for me, it's important that you vote. I still want what's best for you. I want you to educate yourself. I want you to know what you deserve and not give away your vote for cheap or just because someone is your fraternity brother or your soror sister or something like that, or you know their name. Your vote is valuable. Your voice is more powerful than just that. And so what we offer at standwithslater.com, we don't have ideas because we lived ideas. We've been strategizing since we were struggling. We have a plan, we have a solution, and it's vetted. And it's not ambitious, it's not naive. I'm not a career politician. Let me tell you who else wasn't. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Chavez, so whoever, any one of your superheroes, if you will. And so, what's different about this campaign is that true change was done outside of the political system. We're leading civil rights and we want to get within the political system. Imagine if Brother Malcolm was a senator or Brother Martin was a congressperson. That's the time we need right now when we're facing Jim Crow 2.0. It's a little bit different. And so, if the experience of your politicians didn't win for you last time, they're not winning for you now, and you're going to use your vote to think they're going to win for the future, don't be the problem, be the solution, be the faith. We are the genesis of transformation. Can't put old wine in new wineskins. And so we're going to take a successful new direction with new leadership as we fight this new battle, and we will win. We won last time, we're going to win this time. So I thank you guys for having me on the show, from Fest to Freedom. Mr. Sean, all of you guys that's tuning in, thank you so much. And hey, man, we'll see you at November 4th. This year, vote for District 18 special election and vote March 5th, March 4th for the primary for District 29. Rob Slater at standwithslater.com. Thank you.
Man, we appreciate you, Mr. Slater. This has been a
Thank you.
smorgasbord of information that you've
Appreciate it.
given us, man. I do have another question for you,
Mhm.
even though we're about to wrap up.
Absolutely.
I was thinking about District 29, and I was wondering what was the ethnicity makeup
Mhm.
of that district because we do know that we have um, a massive population of the
Mhm,
Hispanic community that definitely need to be correctly and properly represented,
mhm.
just like our own ethnicity, African Americans. So, what is that? What is the makeup of that district?
The new makeup of it, and not to go back and forth, excuse me, the current District 29 is actually held by current Representative Miss Sylvia Garcia. A little bit of North Houston and circles around the Galena Park and Pasadena on the east side, east downtown. That's 75% Hispanic since she's been in office since 2019 as your representative. The new district only has 15% of her old district. The majority of the new 29 is the old 18. So I said to say this don't belong to Sylvia Garcia or to anybody but you. This is a new district. This new makeup is 54% Hispanic, and the black vote has increased. Now, I'm speaking to my brown brothers and sisters, like as well as my black. Even though it's still majority Hispanic,
Hmm.
the voter turnout and engagement is about half that of the black vote.
Hmm.
We want to increase our Latino voices because they are the majority in the district and
Hmm.
they do want to seat at the table.
Hmm.
And that's why we have that federal board that enshrines that 2 seats on that board will be to the Hispanic community.
Hmm.
1 seat is for a Republican.
Hmm.
We want 1 seat is for a Muslim,
Hmm.
a Christian, and a Jewish. Everybody has a seat on this board so that they're represented. That's what true representation means. So this is not about voting just for an Hispanic. Because let me tell you, on this side, I got a lot that look just like me and they turn their back on me. Don't fall for the same thing on that brown side. Race is not an issue, but
Hmm.
culturally, what connects us and our struggles, that's what connects us. So no matter who represent us, vote for who relate to your plight. I may not speak Spanish, but I speak struggle. I speak success. I speak business. I speak faith. I speak family. And so that's what connects us. And so I hope I get your vote as well.
Absolutely, man. Good info. We
Appreciate it.
appreciate you so much. I'll tell you something, Mr.
Mm,
Slater, man.
yeah.
You know where I came from. You know, everybody wanted to be the plug. They wanted to be the
Mm,
street plug. You know what I
mm,
mean? But I'm the new plug.
yeah.
And I want to be the reentry plug. That's who I am.
Right.
Not the street plug, the
Oh.
reentry plug. So if you want to get plugged in when you are reintegrated back into society, I'm the new plug. I go by Sean Johnson. I go by the Black Migo. I am the founder of the Feds to Freedom podcast, the Silver Lining Project. I do now have my own company. It's a little slow, Mr. Slater.
Mm,
Things have been slow for me, man.
mm,
Motion hadn't been as agile as I wanted to be.
mm,
But at the end of the day, I keep pushing. So what we want to let everybody know
mm,
is I'm sure there's been times for Mr. Slater, it didn't look like it was gonna happen. It looked like it didn't look like it was feasible, but you don't stop when it looked like it's not feasible. A lot of you coming home, a lot of you at home
mm,
don't believe you can make it, but you first have to believe in yourself. That's the only reason I'm sitting here talking to this
mm,
man, because while I was incarcerated, I was sitting down envisioning myself doing exactly what I'm doing right now. So my question is, what do you envision yourself doing? You have to have a vision. I cannot create a vision for you. Mr.
mm,
Slater cannot create that. Is your responsibility and it's mine. So man, we appreciate you
yes.
again for sharing all of this wonderful, amazing information with this community. Go right ahead.
If I could say one last thing to show you how we move, because I'm solution driven. Anybody out there that want to get activated, acclimated in the voting process, if you want to join the campaign, you go to 713-213-1424. That's 713-213-1424. I know my campaign personnel are going crazy, but call us directly or standwithslater.com. That's how real it is. We also working on 6 other campaigns. So we'll place you, get you acclimated in the process. If you don't want to be in the political space, you just want to help with voting or you want to learn about business, whatever. Let's just make a connection. That's the first step. I may not have all the answers, but I may know somebody. We could talk, we could figure out a place you make, could put you with a mentor project, some type of space. But the first step is the hardest part is getting out of bed. Take that first step, meet me halfway, and let's see if we can make some type of synergy. So help is there. So I appreciate it.
We
Thank you.
appreciate you
Thank
for
you.
coming out.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate you for your time, your
Mm.
energy, your
Yes, sir.
focus, your drive, your ambition.
Sir.
Man, you are the one. We will be
Thank you.
rooting for you. If you can go out and
Absolutely.
vote for this man. That's what I'm telling
Thank you.
you. That's what I'm asking you to do. Vote for him
Mhm.
or vote for whoever you feel like is the best candidate. But we
Yeah,
definitely believe in you, man, and we
appreciate
want to
it.
see you win. Again, if there's anything that you could do to help these
Mhm.
people are definitely going to help you.
Absolutely.
And so that's what we're here for. Again, I'm Sean Johnson, aka the Black Migo, the founder of the Silver Lining Project. We appreciate you for tuning in,
Mhm.
and we'll be back with the next one.
Already. Appreciate it.